Okay, well, good morning to everyone again, and thank you for joining me today on this wonderful Monday morning. We got some good storms recently, which was great, right? Um, we needed that rain. So I want to start out with some announcements today. Let me put this, okay? Um, if you cannot see my PowerPoint screen right now, you can click on the raise your hand button at the bottom of your screen and let me know. But I have our PowerPoint lesson for today pulled up here. So today we're talking about Chapter 1 again, and we're in Lesson 2, okay? So before we begin in the book, I want to announce a couple of things to you. First of all is I want to give you some information about our Go React video, okay? Last week, I asked you to record a 3-minute video introducing yourself to the class, and I put that link to get to that video lesson in the week 1 folder. It's the very first thing you can click on at the top, and it says introduction video. So if you haven't done that, there's a couple people that haven't. I encourage you to go back into week 1 in our lessons folder and record your video today so I can check it for you. It's not for a grade, but the purpose is for you to get a feel for how to use Go React, because later you're going to record videos for your lab assignments, and I am going to grade them. So this is a practice for us to do. Now, here's a note. If you record a video, I want you to post the video and then wait 1 or 2 days and then go back to check the comments, okay? Because I always watch the videos and make comments in there. And the comments are really important. It's like feedback, which is important for you to improve your speaking. So if there's any pronunciation problems, or maybe you used a word but it's not the right word to use, I will make those corrections in your video so you can actually check it and learn from that, okay? It's a really great tool for students, okay? So how do you check your comments? When you go to Go React, you will see your video posted there. And on the right side of that, you'll see a little chat box. It looks like this little square on the right side of our screen right now. That little chat box, that is where you click and it will have comments in there that you can read and listen to, okay? Sometimes I record an audio comment. So in other words, I will record myself speaking to you so that you can see how to pronounce something in the right way, all right? So there's different kinds of comments in there. So that's exciting. I want you to go today, later today or tomorrow, and check those comments. A couple of you posted a video on Friday evening, and I have not put comments in those yet, okay? So you can check videos maybe tonight or tomorrow. Okay, and then if you have questions, email me. The second announcement is about your lab assignment, okay? If you remember at the beginning of the course, I told you we have 4 lab assignments. The lab assignments are kind of, I'm giving you some freedom with these, okay? So you get to choose what you want to listen to. You can watch a YouTube video. You can watch the news, on the internet, or you can listen to the radio. I have some suggestions if you need help finding something good to listen to. But all the instructions for the lab assignment are posted in the lessons folder in Blackboard, okay? So if you go there, I want you to look for where it says lab assignments, and I have a worksheet that I posted. There's a lot of information in there. So this week, you do not have to do your lab assignment, okay? It's not due until September 11th. So you've got 2 weeks, okay? But it might be good for you to at least look at the assignment and kind of see what you will be doing, and then think about what you want to use for your listening portion, okay? Maybe you can look for a video or something that you want to use. Do you have a question? Somebody just came in. Okay. Okay, if you don't have a question, just mute your microphone at the bottom. Thank you. So check the lessons folder for more information and instructions, as well as to find the worksheet. All right, so that's due on September 11th. And our last announcement today is about Labor Day. Next Monday is Labor Day. And if we were in the classroom, then we would not have class, right? Because the campus is closed. So there's not going to be a video lesson next Monday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the reading assignment this weekend, and then the PowerPoint and notes. So you can review that whenever you want to, this weekend or early next week. And we will do, so we're doing a video lesson this Wednesday, and then we'll do our next video lesson next Wednesday, okay? So we're not doing video lesson on Labor Day. And just so you know, next Wednesday, we are going to do, give little practice speeches. There's a exercise in our book where we're going to practice speaking. So, the PowerPoint lesson that I post will give you more information about that. You just need to keep checking your lessons folder, and you'll be in week 2 this week. All right. And then next week, week 3, just go in there and follow from top to bottom. Do the first assignment first, second one second, and just follow those. Okay. If anybody has a question about any of these announcements, please turn your microphone on and you can ask me now. Anybody have a question? Let me know. Any questions? Nope.
No, teacher.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Sorry, I didn't see that you joined.
Yeah, good morning, teacher. Can you
Yes.
take off the something show up in the screen?
In the screen?
Yeah, in your screen, because this to cover the.
Can you see my screen right now? Can you see the announcements?
Yes, I see it, but on the top, not on the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Something cover the when you're talking, the like. Yes, that's right.
Okay. Oh, the subtitles.
Yeah, subtitle.
Oh, okay. Is that helping you?
Yeah, I want to see it when you're talking.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is a great feature on my PowerPoint. It puts all the words I say down there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Anybody else have a question about the announcements? What's coming up this week or next week?
No, teacher.
All right. Everybody's doing great so far. I know some of you had a rough start with finding your book and getting internet connection and all that, but I hope everybody feels comfortable now with the format of the class. So this week, if you're still having problems doing any of the lessons, assignments, or using Blackboard, let's try to work out whatever problems we have and get that situated so you don't get behind, okay? I haven't graded anything yet, but the grading will start soon. So we need to make sure that we are established well in Blackboard and that you understand what you need to do and how to do it. Okay. So we can email each other this week if you're still having problems with anything. Okay, guys. Everybody's doing great so far. So thanks for joining again today. Let's go ahead and check our answers to your homework from last week. You remember I gave you homework, page 18. I wanted you to go and do the listening practice. There was a there was an audio selection about a debate. And today we're going to practice that a little bit more. We're going to do some work with that. But I want to make sure we have these answers first. And just so you know, there is a video about chimpanzees in your Cambridge LMS learning platform. If you guys remember, I told you last week, Cambridge LMS is where you go to get the audio and video for our book. And there is on page 16 and 17, there is a video that you could watch and answer questions to. I skipped that just because the first week is kind of crazy with trying to get our books and everything. But if you want to do that still, if you want to do everything in your book and you want to get the answers to that, just email me, let me know, because I can give you more answers. But the homework I gave was page 18. So if you have your book, go ahead and open to page 18. Actually, no, we already did page 18. That was the vocabulary. Look at page 19. So this is a response to the listening portion. And at the top of page 19, you see the chart. So we're kind of listening and we responded to what we heard. In the speech, they mentioned dogs were used for protection and transportation. They mentioned that horses were used for building things, transportation, and in war. So we put checks there. And elephants were used for building, transportation, and in war as well. And they talked about camels that are used for transportation and in war. Okay. And then at the bottom of page 19, exercise 5, here are the results. This is what the two speakers talked about. Mrs. Johnson spoke about the cons. Cons means the negative sides of an issue. Okay, using animals for work. She was against that. She did not want people to use animals for work. So these are her 2 points. She said the animals have no one to protect their rights, and then using animals for work is old-fashioned and cruel. Those are the answers to that side. And then Dr. Kurian talked about the pros. Pros means the positive sides of an issue, the good things about a topic. Okay. So he talked about that humans don't have the skills or strength to do certain jobs, so we need to have animals. And the next one, poor people still need animals to survive. And then domesticated animals wouldn't have been able to survive without humans. So he was in favor of using animals for work. Okay, so that was your homework. Does anybody have questions about this? You can turn on your audio if you have a question.
Teacher, I didn't work
Yes.
with the homework because I wasn't able to get my book yet. I think the bookstore is having problems with my order. I ordered my book before of the first day of class, and they each day they sent me an email that my order is back on play, something like that, back order.
Oh, okay. Alan, I'm glad you told me that. Um, Okay, you have a couple of options with that. You can call the bookstore and ask for Roman. Roman Coronado is the manager. Roman Coronado is the manager of the bookstore.
Okay.
And another option is to send that email that you got to me, copy it to me, and then I can send an email to Roman and ask him what's going on. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Thank you. I'm going to call them.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said something because at this point, we're in our second week of class. It's so important for us to have our book access and our audio because, you know, this class is like a listening and speaking class. So when you get your book, on the inside cover of your book, there is a access code that you will
Yes.
see. That
Mhm.
that will give you the access to the listening and audio. Okay, so yeah, that's really important. Yeah, on that note, I noticed when I checked in Cambridge LMS, I noticed that nobody is actually signed up for Cambridge LMS yet, which means nobody has access to the listening and activities. So yeah, this will be very hard to do if you don't have access to that. So email me today. Everybody email me today if you do not have your book, okay? Because we need to work on that. We need to get you your book as soon as possible. Okay. If anybody else has a question, turn on your audio and tell me. Any questions? Okay, so then let's go ahead and continue. So you can turn your audio off and let's talk for a moment about this. Today we're going to talk about a few strategies on speaking, strategies or ways that we can speak to make our speech clearer to the person that's listening, okay? So I want to start with this one, using key phrases to report information. This particular topic is not in a section in your book in this chapter, but I want to practice this with you guys today because in a couple of weeks, you guys are going to do your lab assignment. And in your lab assignment, you have to speak and you have to report information. You're going to report what you heard or what you watched. Okay. So I want to practice that with this particular listening activity. So we're going to talk about Mrs. Johnson and Dr. Curran and the different ideas that they had. Okay. So I have 2 points to share. First of all, it's important to have a main idea and to be clear about your points. Look over on the right side in the chart. Do you see those 3, and then Dr. Curran's ideas 4, 5, 6? These were their points that they shared, and they were very clear. So it was easy for me to understand it and write it, and hopefully it was for you too when we did the listening last week. But I want to practice using a couple of phrases like is in favor of, in favor of. So let me ask you a question. Norma, can you turn your microphone on and tell me what does that mean, in favor of? In favor of, what does that mean? Norma, are you there?
I'm sorry. Is the favor of use?
Okay, what does it mean if I say in favor of?
In the pro of use the animals?
Yes, in favor of means I like it. It's good. Yes. So when we're talking about in favor of something, we're talking about the pros or the positive sides of something. So let's see, Norma or anybody can actually answer this question. What can we do in this sentence to practice? It says Dr. Kurian is in favor of blank. What can we put in that blank?
In favor of use?
Use. Okay. Just use, or how do we finish that sentence?
Use.
But use what? Use a car? Use,
No, using animals
oh, there we
for
go.
use.
Good job. Excellent. Yeah. Dr. Kurian is in favor of using, and we're going to use ing, using. The reason we need to say using is because of the word of. Of is a preposition, and when we have a preposition and we want to put a verb after it, it has to have ing. So, for example, if I say, in favor of eating pizza and watching a movie. I'm in favor of driving on the highway. I'm in favor of reading books every night. So any type of verb that you put after of needs to have ing. Okay? So remember this, because if you want to do your lab assignment and you want to talk about what a person said in the video, and they were sharing pros about a topic, you want to use this same type of sentence, okay? So we're going to say using animals for work. And then the second part of the sentence, it says, he says, okay, so now we're going to report his specific ideas. So look over at the chart again. Do you see that number 4, 5, and 6? Those are his specific points. We call those supporting points. So our first sentence, Dr. Kurian is in favor of using animals for work. That is the main idea. That is a main idea sentence, okay? The next sentence is going to give us a summary of the supporting points. So we start with he says, and then we need to have a subject and a verb. So we're going to make a complete sentence. He says people who don't have access to technology need animals to help them survive. Okay? And he says many animals depend on people. Or you can choose like from number 5. Look at number 5 on the right side. We can say, he says poor people still need animals to survive. Okay? So, are there any questions about this? Does everybody know what to do?
Yes, teacher.
Good. Any questions? Because you guys are about to practice this. Okay. So right here, I'm giving you an example of how to give a main idea and how to share some supporting points about what you heard a person say. So we are reporting information that we already heard, okay? So now what you're going to do, I want you to get a piece of paper and pencil, and you guys are going to practice talking about Mrs. Johnson's ideas. Okay, so these are the cons, right? We've got number 2 and 3 on the chart. So I want you to write down a main idea sentence and a supporting point sentence. You can choose, if you want to, you can choose to change the first sentence and you can start with Mrs. Johnson is against. Because if we say is against, then that means we're talking about the cons, right? Something she does not like. So go ahead. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. I want you to write down the sentences like I put here, but I want you to use Mrs. Johnson. If you do not know what to do, then let me know right now. You can turn on your audio. Okay, so go ahead. I'll give you 2 minutes. Just write down the sentence about Mrs. Johnson. Okay?
Yes, I'm still no, don't know how to do it because I still haven't get the book yet.
Right. So Chan, is it Chan? Or how do you say your name? Lang?
Lan Chan.
Lan. Sorry, Lan. Lan, for you, it's okay. Just go ahead and just listen today
Yeah,
because this will all be difficult because if you did not watch the video of last week,
yeah,
then this will be very hard to do because in the last video we did the listening part.
yeah. Thank
So
you.
that's what I recommend. Yeah, after this class, go back and listen to the week 1 video. Okay?
Yeah,
But yeah, don't worry about this, Lan. Just listen for
yeah,
today.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so the rest of you, Norma, Carolina, Alan, and anybody else that's joined us today, who would like to give me your idea about Mrs. Johnson? How can we report what we heard her say? We're going to summarize her points. Anybody ready? Turn on your microphone.
Okay, I put in my notebook. Miss
Yeah.
Johnson is not in favor of using animals. She said this is an old-fashioned way to work and is cruel. Cruel.
Hey, great job, Alan. That is like perfect. I really like how you did that because you said Mrs. Johnson is not in favor of using animals, and we can add to that using animals for work. And then she says that it is old-fashioned and cruel. So you used the point there, number 3 on the chart. You
Yes.
referred to that. Very, very good. I love it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's get another example from Norma, Carolina, anybody else.
Mr. Mr. Johnson is against of using animals for work. She says no one protects their rights.
Very good. Is that Carolina?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, because I can't see the Blackboard screen. All I see is the PowerPoint. So
Okay.
yes, Carolina, very good. So let me repeat what you said. There's one correction I want you to make to your sentence. I want you to take off the wait, what did you say? You said it is against of?
Yes.
Yeah, do not use the of there. So
Okay.
Carolina says Mrs. Johnson is against using animals for work. She says no one protects their rights. And that's a great sentence. So you gave us a main idea and then you gave us one of the supporting points. Very good. Okay, Norma, do you want to try?
Okay, Mr. Johnson is against for the use of the animals because they don't have any defense your rights, and it's a cruel use of this because they are I don't know.
Okay, wow. Well, okay, so
Cruel.
you were looking at several of the points, trying to fit them all in there. That's good, Norma. Just for the beginning part, we want to say Mrs. Johnson is against using animals for work. And then you can say because after that. That's okay. She is against using animals for work because, and then share your points. That would be good. Okay, good job. All right, guys. Good job. Let's go to another practice here. We're going to talk about using contrast in speech. Now, if you have your book, I don't think anybody has their book, but on a piece of paper or something, you can write down, I'm looking at page 20. I'm looking at page 20 in our textbook right now. And we have a little section in here about using contrast words in speech. Okay, so let me ask you, Alan. Alan, what does contrast mean? If I'm talking about speaking or writing, what does that mean if I say contrast?
The contrast is like the context, no? It's similar.
The context, like the situation?
Yeah, the situation. Or is not.
No, that's a great guess. They both start with context and contrast. So good guess there, but no, actually, when you think of contrast, I want you to think of differences or opposites. So, for example, here's a sentence of contrast. If I say, I like chocolate ice cream, but my husband prefers vanilla ice cream. Okay, that is a sentence of contrast. I like chocolate, but my husband likes vanilla. So what we're doing is we're showing differences between two things, okay? So I have some examples here of some contrast words and how to use them. So let's look at, you can see I divided them into two parts, beginning and middle. Beginning means this word will go at the beginning of a sentence, okay? The beginning of a sentence. So let me share the first example. It says, even though we have technology, we still need animals sometimes to work for us. This is a sentence of contrast because I have something that's good. Oh, we have technology. That's a good thing. But I also have something that we need. We're missing. We need animals. Okay? So we have technology, but we still need animals. That's a contrast sentence. And do you see the contrast phrase that I'm using or word that I'm using? What is it there? Can anybody tell me what's the contrast word?
Still need?
The word but, teacher, the but.
Okay, but I didn't say but. I'm looking on the left side. It says, even though we have technology, we still need animals sometimes to work for us. On the left side. Does everybody see I underlined even though? Okay, everybody say even though.
Even though.
Even
Even
though.
though.
Yeah, there you go.
Even
That's
though.
the word of contrast.
Oh, okay.
So another example, even though I really like chocolate ice cream, my husband doesn't eat it. He wants vanilla ice cream. You see that? There's the contrast. So even though is the contrast word, and it's going to go at the beginning of the sentence. So we have even though, and then we have a subject and verb. Subject would be we, verb is have, and then we put a comma. Do you guys see that comma after technology? Yeah. Okay, then we put the rest of a sentence. It's the contrast, it's the opposite or the different side. It says, we still need animals sometimes to work for us. Okay, does anybody have questions about that one? The one with even though? Okay, if you go back and do your listening again to the debate with Dr. Curran and Mrs. Johnson, you will hear some of these contrast signals, these contrast words. So I would like for you to do that when you get your audio at Cambridge LMS. I want you to listen to the way they use even though and some of the other contrast words, okay? And also, when you get your book, guys, I want you to write this page number down. It's page, hold on, let me find it. Okay, write down page 194. Page 194. On this page, you will find a transcript of the whole audio, the audio part of our book. So you can see all of the things that Mrs. Johnson says and all the things that Dr. Curran says. You can read the words as you're listening. That might help you to recognize things like that we're talking about today. Okay, that's on page 194 of your book. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's look at two more of these contrast signals. On the right side of your page, you see the word middle. So these contrast words are going to go in the middle of a sentence or in the middle between the two sides of our idea. So remember, I talked about the chocolate ice cream and the vanilla ice cream, right? So I have two things that I'm contrasting. When I use but and however, those are going to go in the middle between my two sides. So for example, I like chocolate ice cream, but my husband likes vanilla ice cream. So but goes in the middle between the chocolate and the vanilla points. So let's look at this example. We have technology, but we still need animals sometimes to work for us. So what is the signal there? What is the contrast word, class?
But
However.
Okay, well, I just shared this sentence with but. And so but is the word, but you can also use however. Yes, Alan, so you're still correct. You can also use however. Okay, so Alan, can you read the next sentence for me that has that however in it?
Yes, we have technology, however, we still need animals sometimes to work for us.
Okay, good. So what's the difference between but and however? I want you to look carefully. Look at the commas and the periods. What do we see as a little bit different between these two?
the comma,
Yeah, there's a comma before but. And what about with however?
Where we have the comma after the word.
Yeah, we have a period before however, and we have a comma after however. So that's a little bit different from but, because with but, we just have a comma before it. Okay? And I put the structure there for you guys. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, you can see there's other examples, like with yet. Yet is sort of like but, and on the contrary is kind of like however. Okay? So let's practice with on the contrary. Can anybody give me the sentence using on the contrary? Who wants to try it? Lucia, are you still there? I forgot about you.
Yes, teacher, I'm still here.
I can't see my collaborate screen, so I don't know who's in the class.
Oh, okay.
Lucia,
Yes, I'm here.
can you give me the sentence using on the contrary?
On the contrary, um, I like what can I say? Okay, I like the dark blue color, but my daughter likes green color.
Okay, that's good, but you use but. We want to use on the contrary.
Um,
So I like dark blue color. On the contrary, my daughter, what?
my daughter likes green color.
Right. Okay. So good. That's a good example. Okay, what about with my sentence that I put here on the screen about the technology in the animals? Let's see, Carolina, can you make a sentence with on the contrary? And I want you to use my ideas here about technology and the animals. So you can start with we have technology. Carolina.
Yes, teacher. Um,
How can we put on the contrary in the sentence that I put on the screen?
mm, I like to protect animals. On the contrary, I agree that animals sometimes um, we need sometimes animals to work for us.
Um, Actually, that one would work better with however. I like to protect animals. However, I agree that we need to use animals for work sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the contrary is when you're reporting two uh, two sides of an issue. So we have technology, but on the contrary, we still need animals. Well, no, it sounds better with however. On the contrary would work with. Actually, in your book, there's an example with on the contrary. Page 20, number 2. Some people think the reason I became a vegetarian is because I love animals. On the contrary, I am a vegetarian for health reasons. So it's kind of like giving us a surprise, something that's not expected. People think I became a vegetarian because I love animals. On the contrary, I became a vegetarian for health reasons. Okay, you can also use yet. Yet shows a surprise or kind of unexpected contrast. Okay, so good. Did someone raise their hand? If someone has a question, go ahead and ask.
Yes, I have example.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm a favor of the use of the animals. On the contrary, I don't like the abuse of this.
Oh, okay. That one would be good with however. I'm in favor of using animals. However, I'm against abusing them. Right? Is that what you mean?
So what is the difference into whoever and on the contrary?
Okay, good question. What is the difference between however and on the contrary? Okay, the difference is that on the contrary is like when people think people are going to think something, but actually it's not that way. It's like it's a surprise contrast. Like for example, I could say many people think I really like being outside. On the contrary, I hate being outside. So it's kind of like when you set up the first side of the sentence, it's like what most people think or believe, but it's actually not true. So it's kind of like a surprise end or contrast. Let me give you another example from the book with on the contrary, okay? This is from page 20. It says, not all animal use is abuse. So that's like, what? People are surprised. On the contrary, without humans, these animals would not have been able to survive. Okay, so my suggestion for these is to get your book and look at the homework that I'm going to give you, page 20 and 21, because they have several examples with on the contrary. Okay. So basically, on the contrary and yet, both of those words, we use those for unexpected surprise, contrast. Okay, something that you don't expect. Okay. Like, for example, another example. People think that in my neighborhood nobody has money. On the contrary, we have a lot of neighbors that are wealthy. People think in my neighborhood nobody has money. On the contrary, a lot of people have money in my neighborhood. So it's kind of like a contrast of ideas, a difference in what we think is true and what's really true. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for now. You guys get your book and look at the examples in the book. And then if we still have questions on Wednesday when we go over the homework, you can ask more questions about that one. Okay? All right, so let's go to the next one. How do we share our own opinions? So we already talked about reporting what another person says, okay? And we talked about using contrast words in our speech. And now we're going to talk about sharing our own opinions. And you guys are going to practice with me, okay? So the first thing we want to do is when you're sharing your own opinion, you want to include your topic words, okay? And we're going to do this for your lab assignments. You remember your lab assignment? You're going to be reporting what you watched, and you're also going to be sharing your opinion about what you watched. Okay? So I'm giving you some of the tools that you need in order to do your lab assignment. All right? So we're going to practice this structure right here, sharing our own opinion. So we can use the words I believe that, and then we have a subject and verb. So my example is I believe that working animals can have a happy life. So think about, you remember the picture of the German Shepherd at the top.
Mhm.
That's a working dog right there. You guys see the pack of drugs that he found, right? He's a working dog, and we need him because technology cannot find these drugs as well as dogs can. So when we think about that, here's my opinion. I believe that working animals can have a happy life. So I want you guys to share a sentence. Can you talk about working animals? And I want you to share your opinion. Who wants to start? You start with, I believe that, and I want you to tell me what you think about using animals for work.
Okay, let me try. I
Okay.
believe that I believe that the use of animals sometimes isn't good because it's cruel.
Okay, good. I like that. So you said, I believe that using animals for work is sometimes cruel, or you can say, yeah, is sometimes not good because it's cruel. Is that right? Is that what you meant, Alan?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. Anybody else want to share?
Me, teacher, let me
Okay, go ahead.
let, let me try. I believe
Go ahead.
that using animals for work is not good for or what the word is unsure. For example, when they are in a show, could be
Yeah.
dangerous.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Okay, good. Yeah, you did good, Lucia. That's good. So you said, I believe that using animals for work is not good. And then
Yeah.
you shared one example. Uh, yeah, especially in shows. Yeah. Okay, I like it. Okay,
Okay.
here's another structure we can use. I agree that. So agree means somebody already said something and you think the same way that they think. Okay, so remember Dr. Kurian. Dr. Kurian was in favor of using animals for work. And he talked about, yeah, we have technology, but some places don't have technology and they need animals. So we can agree with what Dr. Kurian already said. And we can say, I agree that technology cannot replace everything that animals do for us. And then I'm talking about guide dogs, drug dogs, cattle horses, right? Think about technology. So far, we don't have technology that can help blind people walk on the streets. safely, right? Dogs are the best option for that. Drug dogs, so far we don't have that technology that can find drugs as well as dogs can. So I want to say I agree with what Dr. Kurian said. I agree that technology cannot replace everything that animals do for us. Okay, so that's another way to share your opinion. Okay. Any questions about these, class?
No, teacher, I need to practice more.
Oh, yes.
I need
Yeah,
practice.
everybody needs to practice. Everybody does. So next week we're going to practice giving little speeches and sharing our opinion about some of the topics in this book. So yes, you're right. For now, just write down these structures, and if you get your book and you get the audio portion, go back and listen, and then you can practice by yourself, kind of talking about what you think. But next week, we're going to do some practice speeches. Now, on page 21, there are 2 discussion questions. And I know nobody has your book, so this might be difficult, but let's try to do one of these together to practice this. Okay, I'm going to read question number 2 that's on page 21, and then you guys are going to tell me your opinion. You can use I believe that, or you can use the I agree. Okay, so here's the sentence. It says people often spend too much time and money on animals. They should focus less on helping animals and more on helping poor people. They should focus less on helping animals and more on helping poor people. Okay, we're talking about Mrs. Johnson's opinion here. So can anybody respond to that? I want you to tell me what you believe, or you can tell me what you agree with. Who wants to try?
Me, teacher.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree that we should focus more on helping people.
Very good. Very simple, but it's very clear. So everybody heard her. She said, I agree that we should focus more on helping people, not animals. Let me give you a little background information. Some people spend thousands of dollars every year on their pets. They buy things for their pets, right? They take their pets on trips with them. And I've even heard of some wealthy people that in their will, they said when they died, they leave all their money to their dog. And I think that's crazy. But let's say you die and you have a house and you have $100,000 and you want all the money in the house to go to your dog. It's actually true. Somebody did that. So this is what we're talking about. It says people should focus less on helping animals and more on helping poor people. Okay, I need another person to tell me, what do you think? Use I believe or I agree. Let's get one more sentence. Anybody want to try?
Okay, I will try.
Okay.
I agree that the use of the animals because they work better.
Okay, Norma, is that you? You kind of cut out. I couldn't hear what you said. You said, I agree.
I agree with the use of the animals
Okay.
because they can do the work better.
Okay, I like that. I agree with the use of animals because they can do the work better. Okay, very good. I like that. Okay, so that's another practice for you guys to do when you get your book. You can see that sentence as well as another one there on the bottom of page 21. All right. So let's talk about one more thing and then we'll be done for the day. Let's talk about word families. On page 22 in your book, there is a chart that gives word family examples. Now, word families are like the structure of the spelling of a word in the noun form, the adjective form, verb, and adverb. So, for example, if I say transport, transport, like if I say we use trucks and planes to transport things around the country. Transport. Transport is a verb. Transport is a verb, something you do. What about the noun form for transport? Does anybody know what the noun is?
Transportation. No.
Yes, good job. Transportation. Transportation would be the noun, and transport is the verb. Okay? So these are word families. And here's my question. And let's see, I want to ask Lucia, I want to ask you, why is it important to know whether a word is a noun, adjective, verb, or adverb? What do you think? Why do we need to know it? Like, why do I need to know that transportation is a noun and transport is a verb? Why is that important?
Well, the important is that we need to identify the idea of the sentence. In this case, the word of transport. Okay, it's just a verb. I don't know, teacher. No.
Okay, no, it's good. That's a good guess. So you're saying we need to know the word family or the form of the word so we can know what the sentence is about? Something like
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay. Well, that's part of it. Part of that is just identifying what the word means, right?
Yeah.
Because we need to understand what the word means. But the form of the word is important because in English we have a position. We have a position and a place for each form of the word. So we have a place in a sentence that we need to put a noun. We have a place in the sentence that we need to put a verb. And if we switch them around, then sometimes it becomes confusing or it's just wrong. So it's not proper English. So when you think of word families, I want you to think, okay, these are important because it will tell us where to put the word in the sentence. We have to choose the right word to put in the right place. So let me give you an example. Let's do an example together, okay? Look at my example here. It says some people think that working animals are blank animals. Blank animals. Are we going to use the adjective abused, or the verb abuse, or the noun abuse? This is one of our vocabulary words, so we're practicing with this one. Can anybody tell me which word we should put in the blank? Some people think that working animals are blank animals. We have to use either the adjective, the verb, or the noun. Which one should we use here?
I think it's abuse, teacher, with ed at the end.
Okay, why? Why do you think it should be the adjective?
And it's an adjective because some people think that working animals are useless.
It just sounds good?
No, because of the meaning of the sentence, I think we are talking about the animals and are abused animals.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Did you finish?
yeah. Yes.
Okay, so here's the challenging part. Abused, abuse, and abuse all pretty much have the same meaning, right? So some students will say, well, I think maybe the verb sounds good. I mean, it's all the same, right? But it's not all the same because of the position in the sentence. The meaning of abuse is pretty much the same with all three of these words, right? We're talking about hurting or harming somebody or something. So that's the meaning. The meaning is the same for all of them, but the function or the use of the word is different. So when we talk about the adjective, adjectives are used to describe a person, place, or thing. And in this sentence, we put this word right before the word animals. And animals are things or living things. So we want to describe these things. We want to use the adjective. So Lucia, you are correct. We want to use abused. They are abused animals.
Okay, teacher.
Yeah. So the reason is because in this position in the sentence, we need an adjective because we're describing animals. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. And this time, Carolina, I want you to answer. Okay. It says many people may blank working animals. What kind of word can we put in this blank?
The abuse noun.
A noun? Okay, why? A noun is a person, place, or thing. Do you know why? Or you just think it sounds... It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hard. But let's look at the structure a little bit closer. We have many people, that's the subject, okay? Then we have the word may. May is a special kind of word. Does anybody know what type of word this is? If you've taken a grammar class or something, does anybody know what may is?
Use to.
Used to?
We can use this word for permission, teacher.
Yes, you can use may for permission, or you can also be for possibility, like something might happen. So may is what we call a modal, or it's also an auxiliary verb. It's a part of a verb. So after may, we have to put a base form verb. So think of examples like may go. may work, may take, may live. So after may, we have to put a verb. So guess what we're going to use here? We're going to use abuse as the verb, the second option, abuse as a verb. Does everybody see that?
Yes,
Questions?
teacher.
Okay, so you can see why it's important to understand the structure of the sentence so that you know which word to put in there. And page 22 and 23 of your book, you're going to practice writing down the different word forms, like the noun form, the adjective form, the verb, and then also using it in some sentences, okay? So let's do the last one together, okay? I need either, let's see, who hasn't answered yet? Norma or Alan. Norma or Alan, or Lun if you want to too. Let's do the last one. Animal rights activists fight against animal blank.
Is abuse noun?
Yes,
Because it's the last option.
because it's at the end of the sentence. Yeah, we're talking about a thing that they fight against. So think of fight against, what do you fight against? I fight against poverty. I fight against abuse. I fight against a thing. So we have to have a noun at the very end here. So we're going to use the third option, abuse, animal abuse. Okay, so one more thing before we get off of this page here. Notice abuse and abuse have the same spelling, and sometimes those words will have the same spelling, okay? When you look in the dictionary, when you look up a word, you can see if it has a V, that means it's a verb. The N means it's a noun. And sometimes the spelling is the same, but the pronunciation is a little bit different. The verb sounds kind of like a Z, abuse, abuse. The noun sounds more like a S, abuse, abuse. So can you guys practice? Say the verb, abuse.
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 Think of, now this is hard for my Spanish speakers. Da, da, because the Z is more of a vibrating sound, like Z. Abuse. Okay, yeah. And then the last one, the noun, is more like your normal S, abuse. And I wish I could see you guys like face to face because sometimes it helps to like look at the person when they're saying it. But a Z is a voiced sound. You have to use your vocal cords. And the S is not voiced, it's just air. Okay, so there's your answers. The first answer, abused. Second answer, abuse, the verb. And the third answer is abuse, the noun. Okay, anybody have questions about this? Any questions? Okay, so we're done. I know this is really, really tough when you don't have your book. So email me today if you still don't have your book and let me know exactly what the problem is. And I can contact the bookstore and ask them about the books. But we need to work on that to get you guys your books and your online access, okay? So the homework is to do pages 20 through 23. So that's 4 pages, okay, in your book. I want you to answer the questions on paper or in your book. Okay, you do not need to send the answers to me in an email because I'm not going to grade your book work. Okay, so just answer on paper. Record your introduction video if you have not already. I think we have 1 or 2 people that have not recorded that. And then after you record your video, check the comments after a few days. Go back to your video and check the comments that I made. And then you can watch other people's videos and give positive comments if you want to. Okay? Any questions about today, class?
No, teacher, thank you.
No.
Teacher,
Oh,
me, I don't know if in the meantime we receive our book. I don't know if you can sharing a picture of these pages in order to study or to check the homework. I don't know if you can do this for us.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I could do that because of copyright
Oh, okay, okay. I see.
issues. I don't know if I can do that. I'll send an email to my boss and ask
Okay,
about
okay.
that.
Thank you